Anyway, hello there. Hello. Sorry for being rude. I was writing too much. I was writing the quest and I wrote like 2,000 words and then I just kept writing and I didn't stop. Jeez, what a loser this man is. Anyway, it's time to get started on the next thing. So let's turn on the music. That's not plugged in. Let's plug it in now. Let's go to gameplay. Let's go here. Let's go and put the game up. Let's put up the Cosmic Forge UI. Let's go over to here, and then we're going to go to load the game, and then we're going to start, and then we're going to be trapped in the place that I don't know how to quite get out of. Yeah, I may have a plan or two. Also, we can see the sun and the moon. That's kind of cool from this angle. So what's the current plan? Are we just going to reset like losers? No, we're not. Because I like the challenge of trying to not fail. Really, I just have a bad problem with myself, obviously. So, let's keep going. Across the sea is the place we need to be. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? No, 7 doesn't get people killed, okay. We cannot sleep on the ocean. For some reason. See, I don't know why we can't sleep on the ocean, but we should be allowed to sleep on the ocean. Anyway, anyway. Gotta say, I'm excited to see where the flips we're going with the quest, by the way, because that's a lot of fun. It's hard, in many ways, but I'm finding it incredibly enjoyable. And I'm excited to see what more stuff we get to do during it. It's a questions time again. I'm honestly kind of curious if you guys enjoy the questions as is. Like, do you feel like it's a bit too soon that flipping Kyohi has returned or not? Do you feel like it should have been longer or something else? That is, if anyone's there, obviously. Because I wouldn't be surprised. You're late, brother. No one's left, so let's watch you fail miserably. Everything you do. That's not a lot of experience, is it? What can we do to not die? Want to sleep on the river. Side. Oh. Westfall gets us occasionally one extra move. Look how close we can get. Just a single, just like we can get so close. By the way, I do personally hate how I ended up the part. It makes sense. It was also just a case of like, I showed Kyohi was awake in some aspect at least. Like, Kyohi isn't just permanently sleeping. And Kyohi did watch the match. So, I just was like, does it make sense for her to get involved? And just like, I guess for Kyohi's character that I'm going for, yeah, it does. I don't quite agree with it, but it makes a decent amount of sense. Oh, nope, there's someone dies. I guess we could grind a bit. Oh my god, you're grinding. You have the way of going back, though. Why would you grind? Wanda. I mean, myself is decently close to leveling up, so, you know, not that insane. Anyway, you spin me right round, babe, right around like a better babe. Yay, it's birds. Oh, yay, it's level 18 birds. No, level 5 birds in this case. Never mind. Just take your swings at the birds in the sky. They're useless when it's not at the time of brightness and brightness. You wish someone was here, but no one came. Oh no, what a shame. What a shame, shame, shamefully shame. Spinning around at the speed of light. Why? Because I'm horrible. You. Guess my life isn't that bad. It's like the average or something. Oh, got an encounter? Also, hello there. How much have you heard clips of me whining about myself and my and the story I'm writing? In which case, I'm sorry for hearing me whine about the story I'm writing about the story. Yes. Oh, if you want me just to reset instead of trying to grind out to get out of here, then just please tell me so. I'll do that. But I'm also just kind of going ahead because I'm just like, well, it's possible theoretically. You faded in and out. You were reading the new part. Oh, that's cool. Thank you. Oh, I write. You have revealed the inner machinations of your mind to someone. Oh no, they're terrible things for them to read about. Sorry, Orb. Kill them all, come on. How much more XP do we need? Not that much, really. Oh, yeah. Don't even need to really try. Rush past this button. Yeah, not much talking, mostly because I'm just thinking and grinding and reading and thinking and grinding and reading. Also wish I ate more before the stream, honestly, but I was just like, eat, get stream, go. Probably not the best mindset, honestly. Luna Mothras are fish. Nika casts Fireball at the enemy. Wrist. No, don't do that. There we go. And I barely know what I said. I think I said what is it? More or less. That's about it. No, I don't want to turn on filter keys. No, I don't want that. I just want to press buttons. Oh, Nika is paralyzed. Congratulations, Nika. That's bad. Not enough XP to level up? Nope. Okay, we gotta rest up then. How much XP do you still need? 1,000-ish, okay. Then we get more, hopefully more restful uses, or we even get restful. That'd be amazing. Also, Nika's paralyzed. That would be a great time for XP, but Nika can't attack them all at once, and that would be a painful battle otherwise. So, you know, just gonna have to reload. You're not strong enough for everything. Also, what's that shocked face for? Are you shocked that we killed ourselves? Are you shocked that I wrote 2,000 words? Because I am. Most I've written in a long time. Or ever. At once. Just resting up and recovering everything we've ever had before. You're gonna be writing a lot more if I keep going. Yep. I'm gonna be writing so much. I'll be honest for a second, by the way. I didn't expect you guys to choose to do something in the afternoon too, when I gave that initial choice to dual tech key or go investigate a rumor or location. I did not expect you guys to choose the second one, but I was just like, it's not like it's impossible for them to do. It's not like they're asking to do two things at once. They're asking to do one thing in the afternoon. Sure, I don't really have a problem with that. This means I'm gonna have a lot more to keep in mind going ahead, though it lets me plan out a bit. Which I have. I have used that little thing to plan out what's gonna be happening a bit more. You thought that's what the choice actually was. Yeah, I didn't correct you guys because I didn't have a problem with what you were doing. I just kind of saw it was like, they're misunderstanding. Yeah, no, they're misunderstanding what I meant, but at the same time, they're doing something better than what I meant, so I'll take it. Get that oratory skill up, kid. Get that skill up. That was really my fault that, oh my god, we don't get it here. That's really my fault that I didn't inform you guys well enough, but fine. Toss them up here. Take each. And that means we got more uses of a magic. Good. Can I save? Yes, I can save. But yeah, it makes sense, honestly, to be like, oh, I'm asking you what you want to do during the morning, and then there's some nice bits from this new part that you kind of sort of wanted to try drawing too. Aha! This is how it works. You're right about it. This is a positive loop. Like any part where Miko gets slammed by a bullet. Yeah. I'll say this about that, by the way. You guys got slammed for her being hot D winner. Yeah, you guys got slammed, by the way, because Miko was, in my mind, Miko was taking it very carefully. And that meant that when things changed very suddenly, and it just threw her off completely, more or less. And she wasn't trying to graze actively because she was being very defensive style, more or less. So she only started grazing once she was more or less forced to graze by the fact that the Danmaku was too condensed at that point to just take a complete sidestep to anything. But yeah, I enjoyed writing the battle scene for the most part, honestly. It wasn't that easy. Yeah, what's up, dude? I hope I didn't just say something stupid. How much confidence around yourself, kid? 0. Miko would get wrecked by her own fragment on normal. Honestly, yes. Miko is incredibly, like, inexperienced right now. I won't say weak necessarily. She just has to learn how to fight. Because right now, yeah, against a weakened fairy, she got her shite kicked in for a good while. Yeah, it's that idea that, like, of course someone who, 1, can't fly, and 2, has never participated in a Danmaku battle would really understand what they're supposed to be doing. Heck, as I pointed out, like, even though it's in the name, there isn't necessarily any reason for... You mean, you'd call her weak? I mean, yeah, really? If she was going more aggressive, I'll say this. Because of the 3 times power boost you got, and Teki wasn't flying up that high, she was out of your reach. Like, if you were not using yokai strength, you would never have been able to reach her, but if you had gone with an aggressive style, you would have been able to jump up at her and catch her off guard like that. Probably not, maybe not spiritually, but physically, probably, yeah. She's stronger thanks to yokai strength, but she's still mostly just a normal human. Even as I pointed out, Teki is still basically as strong as she is when she's 3 times as powerful. It is stated that she doesn't exercise and is perfectly average. Yeah. 3 times physical strength though does mean you can jump quite high. But if I were to compare it, she could barely jump on the roof of the shrine with 3 times strength. Beyond that, not much. That's gonna tire her out if she's grounded. Yeah. I do like the. I like writing this, God, because I have. What's the old wow about? Is it like that she can barely jump on top of this shrine with 3 times strength? She can jump a whole 9 feet in the air. It's not that impressive, is it, when your opponent can fly, what, 50 meters in the air, possibly? So she can dunk. Wow. Yeah, it's not really that impressive. It really isn't, but, stronger than she's ever been before. So basketball mutt Shaq. Ah, yes, the obvious answer to everything. Shaq Fu. I also kind of enjoyed writing Teki, by the way, and I was considering putting a choice. Oh my god, nuclear blast. Oh, that's bad. I was considering putting a choice at 2 parts. One, when Teki said, you know, this is getting really boring, because, oh my god, okay, people died instantly, great, I guess we're gonna reset for that. When Teki said it was boring, because, quite frankly, the strategy was going to be boring for her, I was thinking, like, should I give them a choice here to switch your strategy if they want to, or what? But instead I decided, like, you know what, they said they wanted to be passive, they didn't go into too much detail, I should probably write this fight out to its finish line, as is. And another point was, quite obviously, the fake choice with, hey, are you going to accept friendship with, accept being friends with Teki? Which, I enjoyed writing that portion quite a bit. It felt very, like, considering how I've written Miko to be right now, I feel like it's quite clear, like, she just has barely interacts with people. She's about as socially awkward as you get to, in so far as it seems. Teki seems fun so far. Yeah, I enjoy writing her. She's... what I'm keeping in mind when I'm writing for Teki is, like, if I were to make a... oh god, do not die, Xenobites. Oh god, Xenobites is dead. Oh, why? If I were to think, like, what's a fairy who is barely able to remember things, has to keep a notebook on her to remember basic etiquette, how would she act? You actually like that Miko is very apprehensive about accepting friendship because her friendship because she weirds her out on some level. Yeah, it was also something that I was just like, would Miko actually just do that? And it just like, it's such a obvious thing, but it's like if you introduce an introvert to a major extrovert, you're going to weird the extrovert's going to weird the introvert out somewhat, no matter what. I don't know why I chose to give Teki a notebook too, by the way. Like, I know the reasoning, but I don't know why I chose, like, a notebook instead of anything else. It's a choice which makes me go, maybe it'll be... I guess it's just design-wise, I think it would look better for her to hold if I were to, like, draw her out or something. It'd be cute if they became friends, but it'd be weird to happen that fast. Yeah, and honestly, even if you guys had accepted it as, say, if I made that a choice and you guys had accepted her friendship, it would have honestly been more out of an awkward feeling to say, sure, than anything else. And I would have put that in the description of the choice, too. Like, yeah, you don't really know if you want, like, if I were to word it, it would be like, yes, you don't really know if you want to be her friend, but you kind of don't want to just tell her no, straight up. You still like your theory for why Miko uses the flip phone. I like it too. That may influence how I write then. I like what you write, it influences how I write. Oh, I did also, when I was creating another character, one that you're probably going to meet soon, maybe within 3 parts, I'd say, I was thinking about it and just like, I was thinking like, okay, why is this character the way they are? And I came to the conclusion which led me to realize, like, why is the world, is there any deeper reason for why the world is as it is, why it hasn't recovered, why it hasn't changed, and things like that? And I have the reason why now written, and I kind of like it. It's something that is totally nerdy for me to come up with, but I like it nevertheless, so I'm happy with what I got there. Yeah. I love the art you guys have been doing too. I'll say that again and again and again and again because, oh, it's just so awesome. Ooh, yeah, I just was like, I'm happy that I managed to think of something, and I'm glad with what I have. I do need the specifics of the reason why. You had a question that kind of touched on this. I assume you want to ask the question to Kyohi, who will be getting... Kyohi knows a lot, to be frank. but if you look up what her name means, and even from that one lowest perspective you have of her, is it regarding the dichotomy of fantasy and the truth of humanity? Yes, it is. It has to do with that partially. It's the reason that there is such a strong push towards the truth. Oh, you had a question? Go ahead and ask me the question, yeah. It does have to do with the dichotomy of fantasy and the truth of humanity. It's based on the fact that I thought about it and was just like, what possible reason would truth be so much overwhelmed? Miko wouldn't think to ask what you're thinking at this point in the story. I see. Why would truth be so overwhelmingly stronger than fantasy? Like, sure, in Toho proper, we know that fantasy is dying out in the outside world, but then you have to realize, even in that world, there still seems to be, like, even in Renko and Maribel's time, there still seems to be fantasy going about, right? So, like, at least a little enough to manifest more properly than what we have here. And it just made me go, well, there's probably something that happened then, isn't there? And then I went, okay, if there's something that happened, why wouldn't Yukari stop it? And that's where I got my idea of, like, after I looked at the character I made, I was like, oh my god, this is a great explanation for all of that. Did I answer your question, or did you not ask your question yet? I'm kind of curious. Nah, oh, I didn't ask you your question? Okay, ask your question, good sir. You've drawn enough that I'm just going like, yep, I'll give it to you. What do you want to know? You're probably asking to score your tag in Discord and can even tell you if you're on the right track if you even thought of it 1 sec. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I'm gonna see if that question's been put in the Discord. But why is there just a spoiler start and then nothing else? I assume you just got cut off or something. I assume that's beginning of spoiler. More or less what that looks like. Disregarded for no. For now. Okay. Okay. I am beyond happy, like, just seeing Nika's art too, by the way. I just want to say, very good, good. Like, and Kaiser was right. Nika's improved quite a bit from what I remember seeing, and it's really cool to see. Yay! I'm just happy. Now, Nika's experimenting a lot, you think? I don't know enough about art to say if I agree with you or not. I'm just going to take your word for it that Nika's probably experimenting a lot more than what they normally do. I think it's really cool, though. You think being able to draw in 2 or 3 very different looking styles is pretty darn good on its own. Ooh. That's again, hello, this is not the artist, person who draws anything, but I can see why that would be difficult. It's the fact that if you're drawing from more than one angle, you have to keep in very different looking styles is pretty darn... Oh, not angle, styles. Styles is cool too. Styles is... Oh my god, how did I read styles as angles? It's like reading angels as angles. Oh, and here's danger. Let's commit suicide against danger. Oh god, danger. I do wonder... I have a couple... I actually have 2 people set up right now in the back in my character outline thing, where I'm writing like each character after a certain point in time, like what every character's doing, where they are, and things like that. I have 2 characters right now who are on the path to probably being enemies with you, possibly, as Miko. And I'm very curious if both, either, or none are going to end up being like you're actually going to have as an enemy in the end. Very interesting. I'm loving the... I think the thing I love the most about this is just my mind goes to the fact that, like, this story right now is very much specialized to every choice you guys have made, more or less. And it's because your choices directly influence what happens next. And I just... I gush about that, because this is kind of what I love about stories. About the story is partially just like, hey, what happens in this... during this, because they were like this, and it's just like, okay, then this happens, okay, what about if this happens, okay, then we do this, and I just love I love exploring all these different ideas I've got in here, though, in a very simple way. It's a lot of fun. It's, when is... what is happening? Oh, the moth breeze acid. I can speak occasionally. Thought that we missed a lot of time on the stream because of the problems. Oh, that worked well, apparently. Cool. Just go the one again. Yep. Go. I will also say this about the story. I want to do it again. Like, already I'm just kind of going like, I want to do this again some other time. And I would definitely do it on like the Sufficient Velocity forums or Space Battles or one of those forums. I'd definitely do this again. Partially because with the fact that I would be using the same world and the same characters, except for Miko, who would change probably drastically, honestly. I would get this chance to write it again with foresight in mind. A lot more foresight in mind. Just like, okay, I know that this character is like this. I know this character acts like this. I know how this happens here. And I'll be able to hopefully better construct the story then. Instead of writing it nearly as I go along. And I say nearly because, like, I'm getting ideas still as I'm writing, and I'm putting them in. If after thinking, like, is this something I actually want? Is it something that's actually good? And having to, like, I still need probably, like, how many characters do I have written up right now? Let's see. How many characters do I have written? I have, ignore, oh wait, that's the character sheet. Thank goodness, that's the wrong thing. Okay, good. Oh, that was close. I have how many characters? Let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 characters so far. And I forgot to account for one of them. Great, I hate myself. Holy shite. I'm actually gonna fix that now because oh my god, I missed one of the characters I wrote. Oh my goodness. Let's fix this. Forgetting week. I mean, really, what else would she be doing? No real reason why she'd be doing anything else. God, it's interesting too, because it's like, I'm having to play multiple characters in this too. Because obviously, I have to think like, okay, the players are more or less controlling what Miko does, but I still need to go and think like, okay, what would actually happen here, and how would this character react, and so forth, on and so forth. This is something writers usually have to do, if I'm not mistaken. I guess it's interesting to me in this case, particularly because I'm having to go and think like, what could the players? I have to move along. Like, I can't just. I'm not in control of everyone in the story. You guys are here, and writing is almost always an option. Speaking of that, I am super excited for when we get to what is it? For when we get to the next fragment choice part. God, it's gonna be a long time off, honestly, but oh, I'm so excited for that. I think it's gonna. The choices I've got lined up, I think, are really cool. Is it weird that I'm nerding out about my own story? I'm nerding out about it and absolutely despising it at the same time, so... Yeah, I am also taking elements from different stories. What elements are those? Oh, they're elements like, disposition and conversation, for example. Right, I forgot to hold up. The thing is next to actually, and just need to copy Dude Club. Use Prime, come on. You say it's more excitement to share the thing. You've been getting that way too. That's nice to hear. Very nice to hear. Also, I'm adding it. I flipping completely forgot. Like, oh god, I completely forgot to do this. But I should. I'm gonna. Oh, I hope Kaiser's still online. Nope, Kaiser is offline. Oh god, dang it. Light adjustment. since I bloody forgot to include the disposition choice when asking POE. Actually, do I need that? Does a disposition choice make sense in this case for, when you were all over the low 4-panel gap of gap of Babylon? No, I did read that right. You were like, yo, oh, that choice is good. Should I include a disposition choice for the questioning of Kyohi? I'm not sure I should. It's mostly because looking at it and just going, is it something that should or shouldn't be there? I forgot to think about it when I first did that, but looking back on it, just like, would there be any reason to act any differently with Kyohi in this case than how you've been acting with Kyohi before? Should he be more aggressive? Should he be more seeking of the answers? Would that make any difference either? Like, if you guys were really aggressive with looking for answers, like, would there be any good reason for there to be difference? Or is Kyohi just so, I don't know, uncaring that they'd be like, I don't give a shit, threatening me? I'm a orb. Aha. Or something like that. But yeah, oh my god, your little thing too, I gotta say, that was, I'm doing the again. It makes me geek out because I'm just like, god, I hope I can write something as cool as that looks. Because I think it looks amazing, and I'm just thinking, like, I want to live up to that hype that it makes me feel. And let's see it. How did Kyo die? What? Yeah. Or... Ooh, there's a lot of jellies here. I wonder if they're worth a decent amount of XP. I hope so. But yeah, I do have to say I completely agree with you about the positive feedback loop that we seem to have going right now as a group. It's just like, I write, then you guys get excited and you continue participating and sometimes draw too, or in your case write something as well. It's just something where it's just like, yes, we're having fun and we're getting more ideas as we go along, and that just makes me go, yay, I'm having a happy time. Also, nuclear blast is good. Not gonna lie, you had a lot of fun drawing the second and third panels of parodying Gil. Those have always been incredibly cool shots. Like, I don't know what it is quite about it, honestly. But the image of a person being surrounded by these, like, weaponries that are flying at them, that cover them in all angles, it's really awesome. I don't know if that was done before Gilgamesh, like, a lot, or at all. Because, like, I think when people nowadays think about that kind of shot, they'll often think of Gilgamesh first. But I'm not actually sure if he would be the first. Not, and obviously probably not the very first, but it makes me wonder, just like, has there been anything animated or drawn in that style that's well known beforehand, or known beforehand, I guess either too? Because it's very iconic in a Fate Stay Night and in any time Gilgamesh is shown in that context, but I don't know. I can't think of a time like what, 2026. SS and fuck, what? Colonial era warfare? Not quite. I mean, not one guy with loads of weapons. True, that's another part of it. It's the idea that it's one person launching that entire attack instead of multiple people. But there's also the fact that it goes from a ton of weapons lined up ready to fire on their target. I guess what Gilgamesh does would be the natural endpoint of that kind of concept, wouldn't it? it goes from saying, okay, what if we had, so we have these lines firing at people, okay, what if we had them surrounding someone? What if we could shoot from above as well, and we could line up cannons like that? I guess, like, that is the logical-ish conclusion to that. So, maybe. I can see, thinking about it like that, I can see why someone would be inspired to create a scene like Gilgamesh firing these weapons. How much more XP do we need, by the way? Still quite a bit. But like, I gotta say, it's just one of those shots, like that entire. I'm gonna gush about this for a few seconds or a bit. That entire battle between Gilgamesh and Shiro is amazing. It's incredibly cool, and like I haven't played the visual novel enough, but the gate of Babylon alone just looks really flipping cool. It does. It really does look amazing. It's just that and it's also that I guess like the flippantness of it too adds to the it adds to the amazingness of it. It's the idea that like you have this thing which you can pull out any weapon from, just like, oh, that's cool. What do you use it for? I fire my weapons at people. It's like if you had a gun vault that you could pull out anywhere, and instead of using the guns to fire at people, you just shot the guns at people. It's that kind of insanity that just makes you go, oh my god, that's cool. It would be hilarious with guns, because guns are not as intimidating looking as swords and stuff, but it's just that kind of thing where you're going, I don't need to use this for its intended purpose. Here. And I think this makes it cool. Also, we're just getting screwed over right now in the fight. Like we are. Oh god, I'll always... Fates... the universe of Fates, the universe of Toho, both are so goddamn interesting to me. I just love it. Depends on the gun. Some guns do look cool, yeah. Some guns look really cool. And I can imagine getting, like, an RPG launched at you. Like, the RPG launcher with the RPG inside launched at you would be, might be terrifying at least. Can you imagine if Gil just fired a tank at you? Like, what would you do? He just fired a bloody tank at you. It's just like, out my face and everything. Imagine the Gate of Babylon, but instead of swords, it was AK-47s, M60s, howitzers, and shite. Quite terrifying indeed. Gilgamesh, I have the original gun. Oh, and many more. Oh. I wonder if he would have the prototypes of, would guns be in his vault? Are guns special enough to be in his vault? I mean, theoretically, the first gun or thing that fired projectiles using black powder, would it have a lot of mystery? Would the first gun have a lot of mystery in the Fate universe? Because it's that a fact that at least at the time when it was first made, no one would know what that is. Oh my god, they just fired something at Bob and he just dropped dead. What? You mean supposedly, according to Nasu, no? Oh, that's a bit lame though. But like I guess it's because guns are understood quite well now that like they wouldn't have any mystery. But is that even historically possible? The first gun? Yeah. There's a first of everything, more or less, so a first gun does exist. I don't think we would have ever found it, admittedly. We would have found, like, this is the oldest... That's why when we find something, we're like, oh, this is the oldest thing we found of this thing. It's like, this is the oldest gun we found. So there could be older ones? Yeah, we kind of can only say this is the oldest one we found. We haven't disproven that there aren't any older ones out there. Which I guess is actually, when I say it out loud, I guess that's the basis of the entire reason Gilgamesh has all of his stuff, is that we can't disprove he didn't have any of that, can we? Or we can't disprove that none of it existed before then. And because of that, he does have it, because then it must have existed, according to Nasuverse logic. Which is fun in many ways. And more enemies. Lots of enemies in this case. Nuke them. God. It's the Nasuverse and Toho that make me just go, God, this is cool. Well, you don't know if the wiki made it up, but supposedly he said that because anybody can pick up a gun and use it. People like modern soldiers can't become heroic spirits, or something like that. Yeah, you were referring to when the first gun was made. I kind of find would have been way after its time. Yes, but we can't. Well, we would logically say, yeah, it could have been, but Nasuverse says, but can you prove it? And then we're just like, well, we have this oldest gun we have, and just like the materials existed before. Like, the materials didn't not exist in the world. Blung powder? Blung powder. Ah, yes. What? Gunpowder could have been made. But considering Gil's all the world's treasures are yours, you can see the first gun ending up in his vault because of his massive ego. True. Also, the idea that, like, the White Death, I forget the guy's actual name, something, couldn't become a goddamn heroic spirit just made me just go, no! The guy should be able to become a heroic spirit. It's insane what he did. It's insane what he survived. It's insane his skill level. Are you really gonna tell me, just because he had a gun, he can't become a heroic? He used a gun primarily. He can't become a heroic spirit. Anyone can pick up a bow and use a bow. Oh wait, I guess that's why most archers don't use bows, because they're just like that. That's my problem with that entire thing. You can kill anyone with anything. That, just hearing that, just like, Nasu, please tell me you said that when you were still not rich and famous, I guess. Because otherwise, that's a really dumb thing to say. But yeah, Gil has to have a gun. He just never will use one, admittedly, because he's just like, he's Gilgamesh. He's like, I don't need a gun. Why you have it then? I like having it. And that's basically the entirety of it. It's just like he's not going to use a weapon that he would consider cowardly against someone. He just kind of hang out with it, most likely, because he's Gilgamesh and he does that kind of weird stuff sometimes. Most of the time, actually. But I am... It's the high-level concept of the Nasuverse, which makes me so interested in it, honestly. And Toa as well. Toa has interesting characters, but also an incredibly interesting universe as well, and Nasuverse follows the same rule. It's the same idea of like, oh yeah, there's these cool... There's like this match between ancient historical figures and stuff, and that's like, oh, that's cool. Characters are good. Okay, that's interesting. There's great world building. You caught me there. To be honest, there's one thing you don't like about Nasuverse and Toverse is that you tend to approach differently, is how very anthrocentric they both kind of are. I assume when you say anthrocentric, you mean human-centric, which would be probably... when you say anthrocentric, do you mean human-centric, or do you mean something else? I've never heard that term before, so... Okay. Regarding humankind as a central or most important element of existence, especially as opposed to God or animals. Okay, yeah, that is right. Yeah, okay. I think it's tragic honestly, like, mankind is incredibly important on our planet. Let's clarify that there. We're not very important out in, Andromeda, quite frankly. Unless Andromeda didn't exist until we observed, in which case, I guess so. But it's, yeah, how a lot of stuff is based on human faith and belief, and how human attitude dictates how the world functions, instead of the world informing those attitudes. I totally see why there'd be a problem. I find the idea that, I do find the deal disappointing because it's probably not true, because if it was true, how many people want things to be real and they aren't real in any form, and then just kind of realize, oh, there's probably not much. Dude, humanity isn't even important on the darn moon. Yeah. I think there's a general gist in people that we want humans to be important, but there's also acknowledgement when you dive in, not very deep at all, that humans do not matter currently on the grander scale of the universe beyond our planet. It's somewhat tragic, but at the same time, I'm kind of look at it and go like, one day maybe, and I don't feel too bad, because as long as there's a possibility, I'm just like, fine, we're stuck on here for now, but we should try to find out how to go elsewhere. Don't even screw it up, no, so we can live and continue. Jesus. That's what I think humanity should be trying to do. Though the human-centric way that the stories are told, I find... How do I put this? As I said in the past, I think humans are, at base, at least for good. That's exactly why you don't necessarily like to deny the divines or diabolicals in your own ideas. I will fervently deny, like, a single god idea that's all powerful, to be specific, because that's so... When I think of that, I'm just like, yeah, but if they are all powerful, you do realize they're a horrible person, right? Or a horrible being, right? And it's like, yeah, kind of shite. And that's why, like, when I think of polymorphism, I'm just like, this makes more sense for how the universe would work. Sure, it's that odd thing where if the all-powerful being didn't claim they were all good or something, I would be like, yeah, okay. But everyone claims they're all good for the most part, and just is looking at that just like, really looks at the world, looks at society, really, I don't have the problem thinking there's an all-powerful being. I have a problem thinking there's an all-powerful, dictate good being, and just like, your words, why haven't they talked about anything? Why don't they do any of that? Oh, they have restrictions, they're not all powerful. I've thought of these things a lot, because I want something. Everyone? Did I say something about everyone? I just see everyone now, and there's only a couple you can think off of. Oh, everyone. Wow, that's an oddity that I hadn't realized. It's the specifics of being all-powerful and being all good. Like, let me give an example. Zeus isn't all-powerful, for example, and he's never claimed to be all good. So that's just like, yeah, Zeus is Zeus. He's very strong, but isn't able to pick up the earth with one hand. I guess, like, it's probably because exposure. God with a capital G is very, like, a thought in my mind just goes, like, really, if this is real, this is actually horrible, and I'd rather not have, like, it's just like, oh yeah, if you don't follow the Bible or the Pollock or any of that other stuff, you just end up going to hell. They're very strict, aren't they? Yes. Like, it just makes me kind of go scratch my head, just going like, what we have on them, if they didn't approve, or at least so like either your personal belief is more in line with Christianity, but at the same time you honestly believe that pretty much every religion and mythology has element truth to it. Most because there's too many parallels there. I can see where that's coming from. It's my problem with Christianity isn't the idea that there is a afterlife. I think that's every word tries to say there's an afterlife, and like honestly, it's a lot more horrifying the thought that there isn't one. So it's like, why not want there to be one? So sure, I want there to be an afterlife. The idea of there's someone to punish the wicked. Also, you think that it depends on the sect, bro. As someone who's talking about religion, who doesn't really know much about religion, do take my words with a grain of salt, and do correct me upon things if I am just straight up wrong, please. As well, it's like there's a lot of things that I'm like, for example, why does literally every world religion and mythology have a flood myth? I'm trying to actually think. There is a decent reason. Let's see. Major flooding happens around the world on occasion. Places fall under. Like, you'd probably find in, well, because of the interaction with other places, you probably wouldn't actually find any religion. Like, the only reason that you have flooding is because floods occasionally bring food, occasionally bring destruction, and things like that. So there's also the fact that people moved around and talked, and that means that some people take those ideas and counter, make connections to their existing religion. So even landlocked places gain these flood myths. This is actually, I think, literally anthropology we're getting into now, where it's the study of humans and human interaction. There's also the fact that I think by definition, religion is a meme. Let's see, is that correct? An element of a culture or system of behavior that may be considered to be passed from one individual to another by non-genetic means. Yep, religion is a meme, guys. The fact that I can say that unironically for the most part is hilarious to me, but it's also cool. Your completely unfounded, unscientific theories that it is a memory held on for millennia before actually writing it down. Welcome to the human unconscious. Humanity unconsciousness. Human unconscious. I believe that's what Freud called it. Which is an interesting idea that gains merit due to the fact that we do have just these things communicated through means that shouldn't be possible, or through generations. But yeah, modern. It's funny to describe it, but because you actually use the Richard Dawkins sense of the word meme. Yeah, because it's a very interesting. Geez. Freud, dude, no. No, I'm quite sure it's Freud who thought of it. Wait, no, was it? Oh, dang, I mean, am I human unconscious? No, yeah, it. Okay, no, that's the unconscious mind. Was it? Yeah, Jung. Sorry, I got it wrong. Yeah, no. God dang, it's been a while since I took things up. But yeah, Jung. You're right. Jung was the one who proposed a human the collective unconscious. I got my human unconscious and collective unconscious mixed up. I actually feel really embarrassed about that because I'm studying psychology, so I'm just like, oh god, I'm an idiot. What was I gonna say? Yeah. It's unscientific solely because we can't prove it at this point, and there's a good chance that we'll never be able to prove it. But it is incredibly interesting, and it's a simplistic means to explain something that we otherwise have to delve incredibly far into. But it's also a simple means which gives us a lot more freedom in what comes next, I guess. If we found out that there was a definitive... Shite, you never finished typing your question, Lo. Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Okay, I'll wait then. Hmm. Kill the Mothra. Kill the Mothra, please. These streams always just devolve into talk about stuff for a long, long time. Oh, not keep going. It's gonna take. Okay. So it's a sad thing that, like, human unconsciousness, the collective unconscious, rather, I should actually say, is an interesting concept that lets us expand and have more interesting things go from it. While if we go with the, oh god, why did everything close? Oh, no, everything just kind of went weird for a second there. Okay. Well, if we go with the idea that humanity just has these things where they interact, it's like, that's interesting too, but it's not giving us anything further. There's a concreteness to it that doesn't leave room for anything more interesting or answering any questions that we may still have left about humanity or ourselves. So I think that's, it's also a part of the reason why I think people are generally good is because of that. Is I think collectively we don't start off as anything but a person who wants to live. So I think that due to our environments, we are raised in ways that make us want to help people, even if it does not mean we have to live. Otherwise, like, I feel like most people, again, won't, if they see someone on the ground dying, won't just leave them be. They'll do something else about it. Maybe they'll only call the police or the 911 or something. Maybe that's the only thing they'll do, but they'll, like, we learn, and just, even if we don't learn, we end up just sympathizing with people anyhow. We just, like, why are we taught that it's good to help people? It's because we had to, at first, feel bad for what others were going through. We obviously couldn't just suddenly go, like, we shouldn't help people. It's obviously because, why are you helping person? Because, so, grammatically, let's say at first, oh, we're helping people because it keeps us alive. Like, they give us wheat or something. Okay. Why are you helping that person who is in pain? So they can give me something in the end. And you start having to come up with excuses. As you go along, you just start having to come up with reasons and more or less excuses for why you do things that don't benefit you, on the possibility that, hey, maybe they'll benefit you. Oh, no. So when I guess this is clarification for my statement. When I say people are inherently good, I mean they do not have... I also guess I mean they are not bad, they are not evil. Because, like, a common message I'll see in a lot of things is people are evil, people are bad, people will do the worst thing possible. It's, what's one of the statements? It's like, absolute power corrupts absolutely. I personally hate that statement because it implies and tries to directly say that every person on this planet is inherently going to abuse any ability they have when they have it over someone else. And that just bugs me beyond belief. It's just like, really, you're going to tell me that people are going to do horrible things no matter what? People do not... There's nothing we can do about that, really. Really, okay, that... And it's why I take this stance instead of people are not going to naturally go towards the worst option for others. Yeah, both ideas are dumb. It's... I guess I just go for the... I put it as simply as I can in that people are inherently good, as in, what I'm really trying to say is, people inherently aren't going to lean towards the more selfish choice. It'd be like, let's say, this would be a really odd thing to say, okay? And just in my mind at least. For someone, if someone claimed that wanting to live was selfish, I would have to take I would do a double take, because I'm just like, why is wanting to live a selfish thing? It's an odd thing to, because then you have to always go that it's always, if you say that, then you would theoretically be saying, oh, it's always a selfish thing to want to live. And then it's obviously, the obvious answer to that is, well, no, it isn't always a selfish thing to want to live. You don't think that's necessarily true, that a person will always take the worst option or the better option? I don't think that people will inherently take one option over the other, but I'm not sure what your statement of not necessarily true is applying to, since I've just been rambling along. Too much talking, not enough thinking. Lots of people poisoned. Lovely. Are they all gonna die? Really? That people won't inherently act in their own interest. Okay, so I, again, wasn't clear on this. I'm horrible at everything. I think people will often act in ways that will help them live most of the time. Oh god, I wish I understood what you were saying too, because I probably agree or disagree. Oh, you mean you would have one of the two options? Yes, I have one of the two options. I don't know what to think. How bored is your understanding of a conversation when you don't follow along with what you're saying, except go out? Great. It's how that manifests. You're not talking about living or dying. It's how that manifests in their behavior towards others as to whether it's good or evil. I see. You're talking about people being selfish by nature. Thank you. Okay. So. Okay. I think I understand. I've been blown doing nothing. Very cool. How do we get here again? Oh yeah, talking about Toho, and I think we can get to any topic. I think via Toho and the Naziverse we can arrive at literally any topic in the world, honestly. They're just they're so expansive that it's probably possible to get to any. I hate OBS, yes, I hate OBS, yes. Okay, let's get back to it. Back to what? Wasting your time? Yep. Oh, I'm ducking. Another encounter? Who shall we meet today? More moths. I hate moths. Moths hurt. Moths are deadly. Moths kill. Moths are hard to pronounce. Moths. My love. Can we kill them fast enough to win? I don't know. Hopefully. How much more? Water. Dun 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 dun. Okay. Oh, what's up? What's up? You just check something out? Oh my god. It looks exciting. I'm not even joking. It looks really exciting for me just because I'm just like, ooh, things to answer, things to type, things to do. Woo, woo, woo. Let's see the general gist. So, okay, reading through that, intriguing. Post an art chat, yep, was already in there. So, how would I put it? You fit the general idea that I've played with for a long time about the two, and that they're very interconnected in ways that are self-destructive, more or less, for one side over another. It makes sense, and it seems like something that I would have come up with too. The biggest thing that I hadn't quite worked out yet, and that you kind of handed on a platter there for me, is why people can have powers in modern time. And I read that, I'm just like, that's the missing link I needed. Now, the reason that the state has gotten as about it, like, even, like, let me be frank here. The state of fantasy as it is currently would naturally return to what it was during Gensokyo's time in, like, possibly tens of thousands of years. And he's so, like, that's like, oh no, yeah, that's a bit long, ain't it? And it's the fact that while balance could be returned naturally, the time it takes is so ungodly extreme, and just means that so many people are going to suffer and die in the meantime, that it is an unreasonable way of victory, more or less. It is something that no one would want if they found out about it in story, and everyone would think. The main thing that drives the whole idea is that despite truth being called truth, it is both it and fantasy are sustained by human belief. Correct. It's a very interesting change here, is that truth is truth because humans determine it to be truth. Fantasy is fantasy because humans determine it to be fantasy. There's no... it's more or less, in a way, arbitrary ways of explaining things. Humans could have decided that, they could have decided what truth is to be fantasy, and fantasy could have been truth the entire time. There's no real reason for... It's very much just a complete arbitrary thing of why is this one way and this is another. Because humans have determined it to be. If I were to put it in some more scientific terms, this is ironic, I know. It'd be akin to looking at a quantum particle, which has two possible states, and then declaring that one state is the original state, and the other is the flip side of the state. You don't have any reason to call one over the other, but you've all arbitrarily decided that this one will be the original side, and this one will be the flip side. So it's interesting how they interact, and it's why making a new land of fantasy is going to be so hard, I think. No matter what path you guys take towards this, there are inherent problems in the way the world works that will work against you no matter what. It's just that the path you guys have chosen to try and go down is cruel reality is naturally going to push you guys to a path which is going to more or less refuse to work within the bounds of the system. The way you guys are working, your core belief right now is driving you to somewhere that is more or less outside of what should be possible. And I'm very interested to see where that goes, because you guys could succeed or fail. It really depends on how you try and do this. Because I have an idea of how it can succeed, and what you wrote up there gives me another idea in the making. But both are so difficult. And there'll be chances to abandon your path too, I won't lie. Could take an alternative route. But just no matter what, one's just harder than the other. Nico at the moment is more trying to break the system. Correct. It's Nico, due to what she saw as the end of Gensokyo, sees the system as something that is wrong, more or less. It isn't right that it exists. The fact that people are dying simply for existing is absolutely unacceptable to her. She can't stand what that means, and she's resolved to try and figure out a way to stop it, even if she has no clue how to. I'm very excited for when we get farther in. Farther in? How far is that in? Well, probably like 200 posts at this rate. I don't know. This could end up being like 500k words, honestly, in the end, just because there is so much to go through, so many possibilities. Oh, and I will admit this, as was alluded to with the fact that Zen is called Zen, and Miko doesn't actually know the place's real name, more or less. Modern names that are going to be in here, like human names and stuff like that, it'll be a novel. It more or less is gonna become a novel just because I want to write one in interactive novel. Yes. What was I saying just now? Ah, that's right. Human and regular names that aren't from fantasy creatures are going to be honestly quite incomprehensible, as my own way to show how far humanity has changed. Then you'll do another route with some forum somewhere and they'll get the UEW version. Oh, can you imagine if they ended up on like a route where they fought the fragment of fantasy or something like that? Oh god. I would love that. Like, god, like even just your okay. I'm gonna spoil what could have been. If you guys had chosen the Aki sisters, your route would have gone through. You guys would have been pushed towards belief and becoming stronger through it. And the eventual idea with that is to create a greater network of people to connect to become stronger via, and essentially ascend to godhood to the point where possibly you could remake the entire land of fantasy because you have so much belief in you, and turn the entire city of Zen into the world of fantasy. But like in that theoretical playthrough, your interactions with you would have been more forced to interact with other people and the like because you needed to generate more belief and faith in yourself from human beings. So you would have to, and you'd also obviously grow a much larger attention to yourself, and people would come towards you much more. Like there would be, like currently there is a character who is out of the city who doesn't really think much of you at the moment, or doesn't even really know you exist, more or less. But if you were currently building up a religion, more or less, they'd probably start coming back about now to the city, because this is a giant thing that's happening. Reimu probably would have been, let me think. Reimu would have been a very normal thing, guys. That would have put us right on track for the Heaven's Shield route, where we play as a character of truth and Miko is our enemy. Oh god, yeah, that's fuck. Ignore the fact that ignore the concept of a character of truth. But yeah, Miko in that route is completely about, would be like, you guys would probably, like, for example, you wouldn't have the idea of death as much. Maybe you'd have a slight fear of it available to yourself as a choice, due to the Aki sisters' constant fear of, like, winter per se. But you'd primarily be this person who wants to do good for others, because this is the way that someone with a power should act. You would act to do good because you have the power to do good, possibly. Or you may be acting because you could take that maybe cruel reality is always available, honestly. For different reasons, though, unlike, say, the death. Actually, no, cruel reality probably would always be available. Yeah, because cruel reality takes the idea, cruel reality I think would always be available for everyone except Reimu. Because for everyone else, their existence is denied simply because they are fantasy. While Reimu would, like, to put it frankly, that first fragment you view would have always taken place as the end of Gensokyo. That would have been always the last moments of each of those characters. Except for Reimu, who would be alive after the barrier fell down. And she would be there with a couple of other incredibly powerful yokai in the world. But for all those weak stage 1 bosses, when the barrier goes down, they go with it. That actually also thematically connected to the cycle of fantasy and truth waxing and waning on one another. Incredibly true too. The fact that these two things just, like, if you think about it logically too, you have to ask, why would it wane? And then you go, well, fantasy naturally is against truth and would probably destroy, like, heck, you know what you could argue, actually, and would be a good story point. The Dark Ages were not caused simply due to, like, the destruction of Vikings and stuff. The Dark Ages was the rule of fantasy, where truth had been nearly wiped out completely. That would be interesting if writing it as that during the Dark Ages, that was a time of absolute fantasy. Because everything is lost, and knowledge was destroyed, nothing is known. And fantasy ruled forever there. I actually kind of like that idea. I love it, actually. Ooh. Because it's one of the most mysterious periods of our time. I'm like, oh god, that's actually really cool. And I assume you think that's also a really cool idea from the massive yo. It fits in really well with the world, actually. It fits in well with Toho in general. Ooh. I'll be honest, also, I am thinking about, like, the Horai Immortals, too, on the side, because, like, I'm pulling towards a direction if I want them alive or dead, but, yeah. This is some kind of Nordic psycho bullshit. You love it, yeah, it's, oh, god, it's just so, oh, god, just the idea itself, even if, that's an entire story on its own, let's be frank, but it's a nice piece of background detail for the current story, too. I better actually write that down as a note for myself, just like notes. Alright. Yeah, just gonna put that as a note because that's something I want to include later on. But yeah, that's oh god, that's actually lovely. Oh god, ideas flow forever. Yeah, God, I'm happy I'm writing this story now. I'm just enjoying it. Really a nice little thing to do. By the way, if you didn't notice for the battle, your health is equal to your total spirit available. Or spiritual energy or allotment points as it is. So you can increase that. Allotment, though, is generally not going to be very easy to increase. And it's going to take up major events to increase. That's why I like the general idea that, like, you have... I'm thinking generally for increasing allotment, unless you're doing a major thing with a fragment, as in the last rites, or studying a fragment during the day or something like that. Your fragments and the like are going to remain unupgraded for most part until those moments. So you have to work towards getting them upgraded. You can't just, for the most part, you can't just passively expect them to become any better. Otherwise, that's probably going to be it for tonight. I know we're ending a bit early. Well, it's not really early, it's just that I started late, sadly. But God, I love talking about that story. It's a lot of fun for me, and I'm really excited to just keep working on it. I'm wondering at this point, too, how long this is going to get. Because, looking to get quite long. That's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm very interested in that. Very, very interested. God, I'm just geeking out. I'm just like, I wish there were more votes right now. And it wasn't like 9 o'clock, because I would totally write more right now. But yeah, I'm excited to keep going. You really ought to write your Kogasa thing, you say. Like, go. I can't just say go with it. Like, I honestly don't think I would be so interested in writing what I'm writing if I didn't have that. If I didn't have that push of, oh, you still haven't voted. It's fine. I'll be reminding you. If you guys weren't like participating in this, I would probably have never wanted to do what I'm doing now. You know what you want to do with it. That's amazing. Anyway, you have an A to Z. That's great to hear. Anyway, thank you for coming to the stream. I enjoy talking. You have to actually sit down and do it. The hardest part, indeed. No sarcasm there, really. I hope you all have a great day. Clips is going to be streaming, I believe it's a Fate Extra tomorrow at around 8 o'clock p.m. I am going to be streaming more bloody programming during this weekend. You can describe it more. I'd be interested. Yeah, go ahead with that. I'll be streaming more programming this weekend. Hopefully I can get something done. 10 a.m. No, 10 a.m.-ish. Hopefully for the first stream on Saturday, and then maybe 1 o'clock-ish for the second stream on Sunday. If I can get myself out of bed and do that, I hope, and also not kill myself, because pain and suffering when you're doing programming like I am currently. But otherwise, thank you again, and again, thank you so much for coming, for everything, and I hope you all have a great night. So, yes. So, with that, I gotta say, goodbye.